Canton, Ohio, the birthplace of professional football, the place where legends become immortal and where current greats want to be. But today, all of those heroes take a backseat for the future of America's game. It's the inaugural USA Football Middle School Bowl Game Series, and Game 1 between the Pride and Courage starts right now. Beautiful Canton, Ohio, and Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium just outside of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is the birthplace of professional football, but today it's all about the future of professional football. Kyle Yeomans alongside Nick Laupia is here for Game On Sports and USA Football. It's the inaugural season of the Middle School Bowl Game Series, and an outstanding event about to take place. 3 games. 2 14U games and a 15U game will get us started, but this first game is all about the pride and the courage. The red, white, and blue showcased area. What is it like for some of these youngsters to be able to put on their country's colors, their country's logo, and be able to play for USA Football?
Well, and to play it here, like you
That's
said,
exactly
in
right.
Canton, Ohio, the birthplace, the hotbed of football right now, the Hall of Fame just over the other side of the stands there, and it's well deserved for these kids. It's not very often. These kids, this first game, born in 2005, so you have about 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds playing in this game, and it's not very often that you find kids this young so dedicated to the sport and just to practicing day in and day out. And these kids that are playing here, especially in this first game, this well deserved for them to put in this amount of dedication to the game. It's something that is very rare to find, and I think we're going to see a lot of very good young talent today.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You look at right now on the field, just getting underway, that shotgun formation. We've got a lot of game to happen. Expect some high scoring here, Nick, because some of these players can definitely fly, but all of a sudden you already see the impact of the defense working out as well. You look at the jersey colors. We talked about the red, white, and blue. Well, the Pride and the Courage. The Pride are going to be in the all-white. They are on offense currently, and then the U-14 blue team is going to be the Courage. Pride in the white, Courage in the blue. Pride working currently from that shotgun. 4 wide receivers. The quick step back, and this pass completed right over the middle. Going to the right, that's Chase Bird. First reception that he's had out of Greenville, South Carolina. One of the big things about this bowl game, Nick, 37 different states are going to be represented over the next 3 games, as there's a 4th and 2 here. But the 3 games today, 37 different states. They are coached by 31 coaches from 27 different colleges around the country. We'll name a couple of those throughout the day. And a quick punt already on the docket here for the Pride. A 3 and out, and that defensive stop I talked about. Maybe a little bit of high scoring, but how about the defense stepping up on the first drive of the game? This punt is going to be muffed. Who got it? I think the Pride jumped on top of it. It's big number 40 coming across. Justin Smith will fall on the loose ball out of Cambria Heights, New York. And it looks like it's going to go to the Pride here at the 45-yard line. And a huge break caught there by the Pride.
Yeah, Kyle, you called it, number 40, Justin Smith, like you said, out of Cambria Heights, New York, already 5'11", 205, able to just kind of be aware and fall on a loose football, so it's going to be an extra possession here for the Pride. But I tell you what, Kyle, just kind of being around here yesterday and getting to find out a little bit more about these games today and how these players were selected. These were, the best players that were going to camps all around the nation, and these were really the standouts. And so it's going to be exciting to watch kind of the very top or the very best of the best for these age groups and the dedication that they've shown throughout the summer camps.
A flag thrown, false start on the first snap taken here by the Courage. And, of course, you talk about the entire realm of how these guys are chosen, how these individuals are chosen to represent USA Football during this bowl game series. And one of the big pieces in getting that done is actually our third crew member up here in the booth, Mr. Al Pops, the middle school manager for USA Football. We are definitely happy to have you, Al, and all your knowledge, not only of the game of football, but also individually some of these very talented youngsters out on the field today.
Absolutely, guys. Happy to be here. Happy to be a part of this bowl game series.
Now, if you could, as this one is taken on the outside, a lot of room to work with, and a big hit laid there by the tailback. Number 36, Jaden Alston, he's one that we have highlighted on our spotter boards as somebody who has really turned some heads throughout the week of practice that these two teams have had so far. And Alston, man, he looks like a high school player already, just running on that far side, and a huge gain on his first carry. Outstanding job from Alston out of Goose Creek, South Carolina. This one thrown over the top. Big, tall wide receiver far side. The catch is made right at the 15-yard line, going up and making the snag. James Madison pulling down the loose ball. Had to go up over the top. Good throw there.
You know, that was something we saw during the scrimmage the other day that the kids participated in. They threw it up to him. He knows how to high point that ball. Very good play.
What a throw by Sterling Smith. Able to just almost like a lob over the defender to able to find his receiver. It's a spectacular throw by number 13.
There's Alston again making something out of nothing. That's a 5-yard run after he was really touched just as soon as he got the ball handed off to him. Ends up right inside the 10-yard line as the Courage are knocking on the door of scoring first here. Briar Short, tight end, will make his way off to get the sign. He'll end up inserting himself back on the left side of that offensive line. Smith with Alston right back behind. Here's Alston again, stuffed quickly. Big number 97, Jaden King out of Claremont, Illinois, coming in and making the hit. It's not really an easy task to be able to go through a hole and plug it whenever Alston's barreling down right in front of you, but King was able to do so, and it does bring up a 3rd and 5 here from the 10-yard line.
Alston is an absolutely punishing runner. He's very jacked up, short, compact, low center of gravity. He'll be one to watch.
This one thrown for a first down. No, it's intercepted. Diving forward and making the grab. That's Dominic Barris out of Bartlett, Illinois. My goodness, he had the dive in front. I didn't think that was a bad throw from Smith. Just didn't have enough on it. Barris took advantage.
It's a great closing speed to be able to, like you said, cut that one off. Not a bad throw. Threw it and was leading his receiver, but just a better play by the defensive back to cut that ball off and able to maintain possession while falling to the ground and get a turnover and get the ball back for Courage. And that's a huge turnover in the red zone for that Courage defense.
Now, Al, I don't know if you saw this originally, but on the muff punt just to start that drive, did they end up recovering that, the Courage? Did they recover that punt, or is that some sort of rule and regulation in terms of if a punt is muffed, even if it is recovered by the punting team, that they would keep the ball or that they would concede possession?
That is their ball. They recovered the muff punt, and they were in business.
Had no idea. I was looking over there. I had complete. I had really thought that the Pride ended up with the ball there, but instead they do get the turnover regardless. They've got it on their own 7-yard line. 2nd and 10 to come. Big quarterback in the shotgun here for the Pride as well. Big number 5, Noah Taylor out of Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Taylor, 3-step drop quickly over the top of Owen Connor. Connor on that near side. Just couldn't get up enough. The throw was a little high. Strong arm here from Noah Taylor. He's definitely somebody to look out for. Actually, I take it back. Noah Taylor, actually a defensive back. Changed up the numbers on us. Ryan Downs is actually the quarterback in the shotgun. Hands this one off. Good move, moving on the inside, but that Courage defense is there to make the stuff. It's number 24 on the carry. Jamoki Lowe, another great running back. A couple big tailbacks to highlight the offenses today, but for the second straight drive, the Pride are snuffed out in 3 different plays. Back to punt again. Remember last time it ended up being muffed, but the Courage were able to get on top of it. I'm going to let this one roll just for a little bit before the fair catch is made at the 40-yard line. Best starting field position so far for the Courage, as Aiden Chavis was able to make the fair catch right on the 40-yard line. We'll see. They send out that same core group of guys we talked about. Sterling Smith wearing the number 13 out of Fishers, Indiana. He's definitely one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in this entire, not even just this age group, but even over the entire day. And he can flash the legs a little bit. You saw the arm that he had as well. He's looking on that far side. James Madison, of course, the big 5'10", 125-pound wide receiver. He's on the top of your screen currently, just underneath the yard marker. And then he's got Alston in the backfield. This one snuffed out quickly. A sea of white coming in and taking over. Coven Smith actually running the ball out of Gainesville, Virginia. Sterling Smith, talked about him, out of Indiana. Dual threat quarterback. He's very shifty. Loves to use the legs, but he actually looks to throw first. This time gives it far side. Madison's got some room to work. There's a flag down in the backfield. Madison makes one move, has the first down, breaks back toward the 25-yard line, and we'll see if this one will be coming back or if they will end up declining this one.
James Madison.
And it is going to be coming back. Madison's 13-yard reception taken off the board. Got to change that QB. Hayden Parga out there out of Reno, Nevada. And we talked about the tailback, Coven Smith, as well. Still have James Madison out there. Definitely the framework of a high-end receiver, and they keep going his direction already. The 3 times he's been targeted, 2 of the 3 have ended up in first downs. The other one was a first down and didn't end up sustaining because of the penalty.
Interesting what they did there. They sent a man in motion, kind of faking that jet sweep, and then they fired it out to Madison in the flat. I wonder if that's a little bit of foreshadowing, seeing a jet sweep coming this way.
Could be looking near side. You got Aiden Chavis on the near side of your screen. He's just outside the hash mark. Standing on top of the hash marks is Jason Isle. Actually, it's Jason Esley. 5'8", 135-pound slot receiver. Good offensive line here for the Courage as well. Working out of that same formation, looking left side. Madison, they're going to go up to him. Madison's going to be pulled back, yeah. Pass interference there. Madison loves it. Getting up, clapping the hands. He was definitely hit before he had a chance to reel that one in. I thought there was no way that Madison was going to get there, and he still almost was able to reel that one in.
And was able to get a hand on it, but like you said, a little bit of early contact prevented him from making possession and showing a little bit of that closing speed on the ball. Looked to be, like you said, out of his reach, but able to get a hand on it, draws the penalty and the fresh set of downs for Courage.
Parga, the quarterback, left that one a couple yards in front of Madison, and it ended up being really the perfect throw. I think if Madison wouldn't have been pulled back there, he may have had a chance to make the snag, and there was nobody in between him and the end zone, so that was actually a pretty smart play to hold Madison on the far side. Another quick handoff to the tailback. Taken down quickly, and it's going to be a second and about 8 from the 25-yard line.
Looking at Madison early on in this game, very shifty right off at the line, making his defenders miss. We've seen a couple of the quick passes right to the line of scrimmage, able to beat the defensive backs one-on-one with a couple of moves, and able to get some separation and try and provide an open target for Parga, and has been able to do so in the first couple of drives.
Alston limps his way to the far sideline, came up a little limp after being landed on top of. He'll be looked at here for the Courage. Instead, they send in Toven Smith. Smith, one of the smaller backs. He can definitely catch out of the backfield. This one over the top of the head, it's caught. Diving for the end zone, he's in. Touchdown, Courage.
What a catch by Aiden Jarvis, going up, finding the high point of the ball, able to go up and make the grab, and then the effort, dragging a defender with them and able to kind of lunge forward for the goal line and get there for the touchdown. An impressive first score.
I'll tell you what,
game.
that was a back shoulder throw by the quarterback,
I was
which is
about to say the same
absolutely
thing.
impressive.
That was a beautiful throw. I don't think anywhere else where that ball would have been targeted where it ends up in a touchdown, but because it was back shoulder, he was able to get it over the defensive back, and Parga just put it on the money, and Chavis was able to reel it in and dive toward the end zone. Presence of mind to be able to get there in time. PAT is up and good, and it's a 7-0 Courage lead, and an impressive showing of the passing ability. Both drives have shown some passing ability there from the Courage as they do take that first score all the way to the house. Chavis ends up with a reception. Parga with his first touchdown pass. And we are underway scoring-wise, and we'll see if it slows up at all. We've still got 3 minutes left here in the first quarter of action, as the Pride will get it back. Of course, no kickoffs here at the middle school bowl game series. Game 1 of 3. Got the U-14 teams first, the Pride and Courage here, the youngest of the 3, and then we go to the U-14 Stars and Stripes. That is going to be the second game, starting approximately around noon. And then after that, at 2:30, it's the cream of the crop going into high school, the U-15 Stars and Stripes. You don't want to miss it. All of it can be streamed right here on Game On Sports and, of course, on USA Football. Back in the shotgun go the Pride. They've been 0-2 in terms of trying to get a first down. They have not had any opportunity. 0 for 2 on third down conversions. They've gone 3 and out twice. This one trying to go for the long ball and play one, trying to answer back, and throw just taken over the top there. And a little bit high. 2nd and 10 to come. 2:56 on the clock, 10-minute quarters. And right now, leading the huddle is Cody Padgett out there out of Franklin, Tennessee. 5'7" QB at 120 pounds. He's got a tailback to his left. That normal shotgun formation. Throws the screen, and there's a lot of room to work with. Got it complete. A nice move, breaking back toward the numbers, and he's dragged down at the 30-yard line, close to the first down marker. We'll see if they give it to him, and they will. First down, the first of the game for the Pride, and the screenplay works to perfection, and a lot of that was because of what Chase Bird was able to do with the ball in his hands, Nick.
Well, and Braylon Johnson was just inches away from maybe getting the pick six there, not able to get to the ball right in time, but like you said, able to make the catch. The wide receiver make a couple of players miss, and able to get nice first down.
Tailback now on the right side of Padgett, and instantly in the backfield for the sack. My goodness, that was a flash of lightning named Jaden Martin out of Eden, North Carolina. 5'10", 163 pounds. And I want to remind you, he's 14 years old, and my goodness, he flew in there for an easy sack, untouched almost, coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, right now the defensive line for U-14 Courage doing a great job of really getting some penetration early on this Pride offensive line, and seeing a little more active the Courage defensive line so far in this first quarter.
Another play near side, just that quick throw, and it goes in and out of the hands of Ethan Lawler out of Troy, Missouri. 37 different states represented, and a lot of them right around this area of the country: Ohio, Michigan, Missouri. Talked about Kentucky, Virginia already. Different states, but even some that are farther away. We got Grand Prairie, Texas out here. York, Pennsylvania, of course, just down the road, not that far from Canton, Ohio. Delaware represented, Florida, Massachusetts, New York. all around the country. It truly is USA football, and they've come for a week full of training, practicing, and these two teams actually got a scrimmage in earlier in the week. The only matchup of our 3 games that have actually seen each other already, and another third down conversion gone awry here for the Pride, as they will end up punting it back over to the Courage, who still lead it right now 7-0, 1:36 left here in the first quarter.
You know, you spoke about all the different states represented here. The only thing that they have some things in common, but the universal language of football is what's very, very cool for these young kids, all from different states, all playing together.
That's what's outstanding about it, is you've gotten to see it firsthand, Al, in terms of being able to go through with a week full of practices. These guys come in as complete strangers and they leave as lifelong friends and, of course, teammates in some circumstances. But in the end, it's all about the camaraderie and then also improvement in their games. And they're already some of the best in the country, but being able to come to a different camp like this and go to those USA football camps around the nation and then have an event such as the Middle School Bowl Game Series to be able to really put them onto the next level, it's something that it's priceless.
Absolutely. That's what's great to see.
Courage back on the offensive side of things.
You know, the cool thing is these guys, they come and play football, right? That's what they're here for. But the things that the people don't see, the parents don't see, their friends at home don't see, is that they're hanging out together. They're eating lunch together. They're hanging out around campus together and really becoming friends. You know, with social media, they can stay connected all year long. And who knows how many times they'll see each other down the road in their careers, too.
That's another great thing. Of course, all the greats who have come out of USA football, some of which drafted into the NFL. And, of course, only about 10 years or so, about a little bit over a decade of the program and the entire USA national team being around, but some of those alumni from the past trying to get just across the parking lot and get into that Pro Football Hall of Fame. First one that comes to mind, Todd Gurley, of course, once played with USA football. Jameis Winston as well. A lot of great young players in the game right now have worn the stars and the stripes. Another completion, far side, looks for a first down. Nice move from the wideout there. Being able to make a defender miss and get to the outside. That's Cole Cavett, 5'9", 135 pounds out of Webb City, Missouri. I thought he got the first down. Instead, they're going to mark him just short, 4th and 1. We'll see if they end up going for this. It looks like they will. At the one tight end on the right side, 3 wideouts, 2 to the left, and the tailback straight back behind in Alston.
I wouldn't be shocked if I see a heavy dosage of Alston up the middle right here.
Yeah, I would not either. Michael Weed is the quarterback, by the way, here for the Courage, and Alston is handed the ball, but he's tripped up.
It's like the
Sniper
Turf Monster
got him.
Yeah, Turf Monster got him there.
Turf Monster got him. And that is going to do it for the Courage. 4 seconds left in the quarter. It looks like they're going to let the clock go ahead and run out here. No, 2 seconds left. And they actually do let the clock run out. They kind of stopped and started there on the clock. But it does bring it into the first quarter. 7-0, the Courage, after a touchdown throw their last time on the field. But they do end up being taken off the field this time by that Pride defense. Outstanding play by Aiden Chavis, and the throw from Hayden Parga makes it a 7-0 Courage lead. Once again, do want to thank you again for joining us here on USA Football, the coverage of the first annual Middle School Bowl Game Series here from Canton, Ohio. Pro Football Hall of Fame in the distance, and Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. It's the same field that will be hosting not only the enshrinement ceremonies of this year's Hall of Fame class with the likes of Ray Lewis, Terrell Owens, different players, and Randy Moss, another big one, also going into the Hall of Fame, but also will hold the Pro Football Hall of Fame game that same week. It's the Bears and the Ravens. Mitch Trubisky and the Bears, of course, in his second year as quarterback for Chicago's favorite football team, and you've got the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson potentially going to play a lot. RG3, also a backup to Joe Flacco in there. Got to throw that in. I'm a Waco guy, so I have to throw RG3's name in there, even though he will probably not see the field a whole lot this season. But nonetheless, just the fact that you get to be in the locker rooms, you get to get out on the same field as the Pro Football Hall of Fame game, and then also You know, all of these players know the history of the game and being able to be around so much of it. Talked about it in the open. The birthplace of professional football right around here, Akron, Canton. There's a reason why this is the mecca. If you're a college football fan in the U.S., you've got to make it to Canton, Ohio. What a great week to be here for middle school football. Another big throw over the top, lofting, and what a play if that is reeled in. My goodness. He just came down with that football.
How he got 1 foot in, I have no idea. He was on the edge of the sideline for a couple of seconds waiting for that ball to come down and able just to tiptoe in.
Wow.
We talked about
Dawson Griffiths, the tight end. Yeah, that's a tight end. That's not a wide receiver making a college-esque type play in middle school, but that is a tight end. He is playing on the near side of your screen in a wide receiver position as this one snuffed out quickly by that Courage defense.
Going back to that catch by Griffiths, you know, that's coaching. That is a lot of quality coaching. We have some great coaches here from every level, the high school level, college level, even some NFL guys. And to be coached up to keep your foot in bounds and to catch that ball, that's amazing.
Also like the presence of mind there from Ryan Downs, the quarterback here for the Pride. One of the bigger players, if not the biggest player on the field. I think he is the biggest player on the field. Looks like a college quarterback already. 6'3", 165 out of Lloyd Harbor, New York. He is definitely out of his age group in terms of size. Does connect here in the backfield, but another great play defensively by the Courage as those Navy jerseys have been swarming. Matthew Bivens, that time out of Bahama, North Carolina, making the play. But talking about the throw there from Downs, even though he lofted it up initially, he left it where only his wide receiver could get to it, and that's the key in terms of playing quarterback effectively. You got to make sure that only your wide receiver can come down to the with the ball, and we saw there that it was even tough for the wide receiver to do so, but he knew he could trust to make the play. Doing it again here near side, and that one just overthrown.
Man, Downs makes that look easy. That was 30 yards just with a flick of the wrist down the field.
Trying to look for number on that wide receiver. I believe it was Griffiths again, who's been playing more so on the outside as like a wide receiver look. And we're going to end up punting this one away. Another 3 and out for the Pride other than that first down. We got 2 first downs in the game. Still trailing 7-0. Courage on top here. 8:36 left on the clock here in the first half of action. Snap is high, but it is there. Nice smiling punt. Takes a friendly Pride bounce, and it's going to be picked up or grabbed there at the 17-yard line. Worst field position of the game so far for the Courage. We'll see what they can do in terms of driving the ball. They had that drive the first time they were on offense, ending in an interception on 3rd down inside the red zone. We were then able to come back the next time out, score the touchdown with the nice throw to Aiden Chavis. And after that, they were 3 and out as well. Pride in the white and the Courage in the navy. Back in the shotgun, the starting quarterback for the Courage, Sterling Smith. Talked about his dual threat ability earlier. He's going to hand this one off, a staggered handoff. Looking to get to the outside. He's got a little bit of hold. One man to beat. He beats him. Now it's a foot race. Toven Smith is going to take this one all the way unless he's caught from behind. Down to the 10-yard line. He makes a hurdle and he's in. Smith takes it all the way. And the Courage grow their lead.
What a run by Smith, able to stretching it to the outside, but has the awareness, the patience to kind of cut it back in and make a couple of guys miss. And like you said, just showing off the speed downfield and able to break that last tackle right around the 5-yard line. Very impressive run. We get another quick touchdown here to start off the second quarter.
My goodness. Talked about how that was the worst field position that the Courage have had all game long. And they end up taking it 86 yards to the house. Toven Smith, 5'2", 95 pounds. But you can see why he's here. Look at the speed. He was able to outrace And also with the ability to hurdle right up at the end as soon as his defender was closing in on him. I thought for sure he was going to be dragged down around the 6-yard line, which would have still been an incredible run, but Smith was able to avoid it, and it's going to be a 13-0 lead for the Courage as the PAT does go wide right. The blocking was there for the Courage, set up the run. It looked like, though, initially the Pride got a good push, got into the backfield. There was maybe a chance for that to be a loss of yardage, and with the delayed handoff, it allowed maybe for Smith to have a couple extra steps, get the wheels turning, and whenever he did, he was able to pop through a couple holes and get into open field, and whenever he's in open field, he's tough to catch. And we got ourselves our second touchdown, first rushing touchdown of the day. 86 yards, Toven Smith to the house, longest touchdown we've seen. Quick handoff up the middle. Team Pride trying to get something going on offense. They've had 2 first downs, and that's about it.
John Moki Lowe with the carry.
Moki Lowe on the carry there. Wearing the number 24, 5'8", 130 pounds, out of Wisconsin.
Certainly a member of the all-name team.
Oh, of course. Moki Lowe. And it's not L-O-W or anything else. It's L-O. Just Lowe. Keeping it simple. Then you've got Jamoki as the first name. So, John Moki. J-O-N-M-O-K-E-E. Love it. Good pass over the middle, but he is going to be taken down as soon as the catch is made. And about 6. It'll be a 3rd and short, 3rd and manageable now here for the Pride. It's wide receiver Darius Wise Jr. making the grab.
He was at our Baltimore regional camp at the end of June, and he was a wide receiver that we really loved at camp, and we're happy to have him here. And Wise.
And Wise able to make the grab with the defender breathing down in his neck there. Shotgun formation here for the Pride. Flag's thrown, and it's going to be offsides on the Courage. That should give the Pride a first down here. You talk about a bunch of these different individuals throughout the game and what they've been able to show you during their camps and then also during the practices throughout the week. There are a lot of individuals on this Pride team that can step up and get right back in this game. 13-0 currently, just over 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter. You've got Ryan Downs, of course, the quarterback, John Moki Lowe, great tailback, Sean Lemons, Owen Connor. Lots of talent on both of these sides, and the Pride just a little bit slow to the gates early in this one, but still plenty of game left to be played. Get a touchdown here, you're right back in the thick of things.
Right there on that last handoff, you just see a swarm of blue jerseys right at the line of scrimmage. Encourage the defensive line, able to get a lot of early push. Looked like number 99, Dominic Salvetti, was right in the middle of that.
3 wide receivers to the right. They're going to go to the left. That pass is going to be broken up before it can be completed. Nice play by Matthew Bivens. Called his name a couple times already. He's been all over the field. Bivens just a ball-hawking linebacker coming over and making the play. That's what you got to love about some of these individuals, some of the different competitiveness that you see. Bivens, 5'8", 155 pounds, and he comes over, lays a hit on a receiver, jars that one loose. And on 3rd and long, that Courage defense is there. I don't know why. It may be the Navy jersey with the red trim, but big number 99 flying in there. Hugh Meehan reminds me a little bit of Mr. J.J. Watt coming in with that 99 jersey. Able to lay down a hit in the backfield, and it's 4th and 15. Pride have no choice but to punt this one away. 2 returners back here for the Courage. Got James Madison back there. Of course, he is definitely dangerous. And then the other returner is our touchdown scorer, Aiden Chavis. This one high in the air, end over end, lands right at that midfield logo. Madison's going for it. It's popped up. And they're going to end up giving this one to the Courage right around the 50-yard line. Blew it dead, actually right at midfield in the middle of the logo. Beautiful day, beautiful week here from Canton. Of course, there were some thunderstorms throughout the latter part of the practice festivities and different training camp and scrimmage times, but since then it has been nothing but sunny, not a cloud in the sky. And a beautiful atmosphere for today's games. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, newly renovated and opened up last year for the 2017 Hall of Fame enshrinement and induction ceremony. Here's Madison near side trying to find some room to work, but those white jerseys were able to just close in around him. See some Pride players warming up on the near sideline, getting coaching even in the middle of the game. That's another thing about these exhibition games and some of these camps is the coaching's never really over with. Even when you get into the game, you've got to figure things out, and never a bad time to do some different drills. Courage trying to extend their lead, though. Had a receiver in motion, and that time, nowhere for Hayden Parga to go. He's taken down for the sack, and it'll be 3rd and long to come. A couple white jerseys in there. That offensive line for the Pride continuing to pester the backfield for the Courage.
You saw even on that play, he was looking over Madison's direction, and that's the type of scare that they've already put in, is they know Madison's getting the ball. They covered him up there very well. Good job by the defense.
I believe Jaden King, offensive lineman there for the Pride, who was in for the sack. This one complete to Chavis far side. He's taken down quickly. Solo tackle initially. He's wrapped up quickly by Jackson Smith. Smith out of Dover Foxcroft, Maine. It's a long way to go. 3:10 left here in the first half of action. Second quarter here from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, and it looks like 4th down will bring a punt here for the Courage. It's only their second punt of the game. They've either ended up with a touchdown or with the interception in the red zone last time out. This one's back behind, and they're going to jump on that loose ball. Smart play by the Pride, but it is going to end up in bad field position right at the 9-yard line. 10-minute quarters all day long here on Game On Sports and USA Football. Canton, Ohio, playing host.
Can you guys imagine being 12, 13, 14 years old and setting foot in this stadium in this type of atmosphere on this national stage, what it must feel like to play in this game for these guys?
I am even, I mean, I'm 22, and I'm astounded by not only the facilities and how nice they are, but also just the history and the prejudice. And I'm not even on the field. I'm just here to broadcast.
Right?
But it's unbelievable, the opportunity to be able to play at this stadium, even really this time of year. I mean, the induction ceremonies are just about a month away. They're going to happen right where these games are being played.
All these youngsters getting ready for their regular seasons back home in their hometowns. This is no better way to get ready.
Oh, no. Some of the best competition, their age group. And, of course, the final game we have today, those guys are going into high school. It's going to be some of the names we'll hear about in our different high school games. How about this one? Laying a hit, still dragging the pile, and he's taken down just at the 34-yard line. Another great play. Once again, Dawson Griffiths. He has been a monster receiver for the Pride so far. Go-to so far for Ryan Downs as well, playing quarterback for the Pride. Just dragging the pile, laying down some shoulder there and picking up some extra yardage. My goodness.
Let's see if that sparks this offense to get on the board now.
It's their fourth first down of the game, 2 of which have gone to Griffith.
34,
And they did go his way again. Throw did go wide for Griffiths. Baxley, Georgia has a good one. Once again, he's listed as a tight end, but he's been playing more wide receiver look here. 1:14 left, and it looks like maybe a timeout. Whistle's blowing, but some confusion here from the officiating. conversation here. Gives us good time to look at our officials. Carl Davidson, Kevin Sink, Brian Friends, Tim Costello. And how about this for all-name team, even for the officiating crews? It's Chris Loudermilk. Loudermilk. Those are our officials today. It will be the officials for the first 2 games, and then we'll have a switch up for the 2:30 matchup. Downs back in the shotgun. He's got a tailback to his left. 2nd and 10. He's looking over the top, trying to go once again to his favorite target in Griffiths. That's way too wide. Good coverage there from the Courage. Coverage and courage seems to go together. Defense has been stifling so far. Big reason why they are up 13-0. I believe the clock was the cause for some of the official confusion. 1:34 up on the clock currently. Plenty of time for the Pride to try and punch one in.
That would be huge before the end of the half to get some points on the board.
Absolutely. This one just out of the reach. That's a big wide receiver as well. Justin Smith was the intended target. 5'11", 205 out of Cambria Heights, New York. And the big number 40. But it is going to be a 4th down again here for the Pride. Tyler Morgan back to punt out of Berkshire, Texas. Nice spiraling kick. Madison goes for it. Didn't call for a fair catch. And it's going to end up being downed by the Courage right at the 48-yard line. Now, I think we've already learned throughout the course of the game that these punts are dead. Had a couple muff punts earlier and a couple since then, and they have not ended up in chains of possession, nor have any of the Pride or Courage team members, whoever is on the special teams, really made an effort other than that first punt. I think they learned as well. Quick handoff here to Alston as he's taken down quickly. Big running back. He had a big run earlier. It was called back because of holding. But since then has really kind of been kept quiet. Came off the field earlier with looked like what was potentially cramps. Good to see him back in the ball game for at least a play. But with halftime looming, underneath a minute left here in the second quarter, does allow for a chance to try and make a substitution. Of course, we already talked about Coven Smith as he had an 86-yard touchdown run last time he was on the field. This one handed off. I think that's Christian Wood. No. Actually, it is Christian Wood. Canton Worthington. There are 2 number 37s on this Courage roster. Looking at the other one. Northington with the carry, seeing his first action of the first half. They give it to Madison, far side. Madison trying to reach out. You can see the speed that he has. Even then, with a defender running straight at him, was able to get around him to the far side, even though it's going to be 4th down. It won't matter because it's going to be the end of the first half. Clock hits all zeros here from Tom Benson, Hall of Fame Stadium. The Courage leading over the Pride 14U game 1. And the teams will head to the locker room for the next couple minutes. It's 13-0 Courage over Pride. Nick, what are your first thoughts of that first half of action?
Again, I'm still in awe in the talent that these young kids have. We've seen some, one thing that I noticed, some pretty good open field tackles by a couple of the defensive backs from both defenses. Been able to wrap up and not really allow a lot of yards after contact. And then you look on the offensive side, well, the two big kind of wide receivers that we've seen, you have James Madison, then you have over on the other side for Pride, number 34, Dawson Griffiths has made a couple of big plays. So it's pretty interesting to see. We've seen some good quarterback play early on, but again, just a very impressive showing of talent. Again, that's what you expect in this type of game. These are the top kids in their age group from all around the nation, and it was a really fun first half to watch.
Definitely was a lot of fun. Courage taking the lead initially. We'll talk about real quick. Aiden Chavis was able to reel one in and force his way into the end zone. The throw was coming from Hayden Parga. And then, of course, the 86-yard scamper from Toven Smith, the missed extra point afterwards, is where we stand currently. 13-0 Courage over the Pride. Game 1 of 3 on the afternoon here from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. We're going to take a quick break. It's a 10-minute halftime. We'll be back before then as we get set for the second half of action. Who's going to pull out game number 1 here in the USA Football Middle School Bowl Game Series right here on Game On Sports and, of course, USA Football. Beautiful Canton, Ohio, and Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium playing host to the Middle School Bowl Game Series for USA Football and the U.S. national team. We are one half through. It's 13-0 in favor of the Courage. It's the Courage and the Pride right here on USA Football and Game On Sports. An outstanding first half passing-wise for the Courage. They were able to get a couple first downs, and their first touchdown came by the way of the pass. Aiden Chavis was able to run one or grab it and dive toward the end zone, and then the Courage were able to follow that up with a Toven Smith 86-yard touchdown run to make it a 13-0 game. Of course, a missed extra point in there as well. Kyle Yeomans alongside Al Pops, and of course, my partner Nick Laupius bringing you the Middle School Bowl Game Series here for USA Football, and it is outstanding atmosphere and day here for not only playing the game, but also just being in the shadow of some of the game's greats of Pro Football Hall of Fame off into the distance, and a full week of practices, training, drills, and camaraderie coming to a culmination here with the final day and the bowl games being played. Courage will start with possession here in the second half. They are wearing the navy, going from right to left, and then the Pride wearing the white. They will go from left to right here in the third quarter. 10-minute quarters as we get set here for quarter number 3. It was all about the defenses really in that first half. You had the passing attack from the Courage that worked out well, and it ended up opening up a hole for the success of Toven Smith on that one run. But other than that, it's either been you complete the pass or the defense is getting in the backfield, Nick.
Yeah, both defensive lines have been doing a good job of getting the first push, and we'll see again right here. We'll see Alston make a couple of players miss, and again, a couple of yards after contact, we've seen the first 2 runs of this second half. Alston able to drag a couple of defenders with them, but you're exactly right. The defensive lines for both teams have been getting that initial push and really been living in the backfield all in that first half.
If you would have asked me before the game started with what kind of scouting reports we've had and the different players on showcase for the entire day, I would have told you that we may have had 2 100-yard rushers on both sides with John Moki low and then also with Alston for the Courage. But right now it's really been the quarterbacks and the wide receivers taking the spotlight so far from the tailbacks. Even on the Pride side of things, we've saw Dawson Griffiths have some room to work with, and he's been very impressive. Listed as a tight end, but he's played wide receiver, and he has done extremely well. And then we talked about the touchdown catch from Aiden Chavis, and then James Madison for the Courage. He is a stud in his own right, as well as the Courage do go 3 and out, and the Pride get it back quickly. See what kind of drive will get started here for the Pride as they look to get on the board. They've had 4 first downs, and that is all they have been able to muster. If they can get some kind of ball rolling here offensively, get a little bit of rhythm, they get right back in this ball game pretty quick.
If I'm the Pride, I'm making it a sure thing that I'm going to score a touchdown on this first drive. You got to punch them in the mouth, get on the board, and to let them know that you're not just going to pass and run all over us. We got to score here.
That has been easier said than done throughout the first half of action. This one handed off, and that is exactly why It has been so tough. Jason Lockaby Jr., 5'9", 165 pounds out of Woodbridge, Virginia, laying down the wood and making the play in the backfield. 2nd and 12 to come here for the Pride as there was no room to work. Woodbridge came in quickly and did not leave any room for questions.
Yeah, Lockamy right there playing linebacker, able to shoot the gap and go in untouched and make the play. And that goes back to the defensive line really allowing the secondary to get into the backfield.
Manageable run there from the Pride, but what a block from Justin Smith, the tight end coming over. He was in the backfield. He ran up right into a linebacker and decleated him. It provided for a little bit of extra room to work with on the run play, but instead it is going to be snuffed out pretty quickly again by that Courage defense. That defensive line for the Courage has been basically unstoppable. They have gotten in the backfield at will throughout the course of the first half and now into the third quarter. 6:40 remaining in the third. Shotgun action again here for the Pride. Quarterback Leighton Kinnison out of Shaw, South Carolina. Delay of game is going to be called. The play clock all the way down to 0. Shot clock still in basketball season for me, apparently. It's time to shift to football, Kyle. Time to shift to football. Makes this 3rd and long even longer. 3rd and 17 on the way. They're going to hand it off, and he loses the football. It's loose on the ground. We'll see. I think the Pride came up with it. No, it's Courage football. Big number 91 for the Courage, Brett Clotterall, able to get in there out of Culpeper, Virginia, the 5'7", 155-pounder. And the defensive lineman falls on top of it, and the Courage have great field position and their first turnover forced on the day.
If you're the Pride, that is not how you want to start this second half, especially after the challenges of the first half. If the Courage punch it in here, it might be a long afternoon for the Pride.
Rashawn Lamons was the one that put it on the ground. The tailback couldn't hold on to it out of Delaware. The Courage gonna send Smith back into the shotgun again to try and make something happen. Leading already 13-0. They're going to go for it all on the first play. Over the top, looking far side once again for Madison. And it's just a bit overthrown. Madison laid a hit on his defender there trying to get him out of the way. I think if Madison would have had some extra green to work with there, he may have been able to try and lay out, make a grab, but good job shifting over there from that Pride defense to just get in his way, not allow a whole lot of green space to work with.
Yeah, it was Benjamin Denning and Noah Taylor almost playing double coverage on Madison on that far sideline.
We're going to look for it again. Smith able to get out of the pressure. He's going to have to use the wheels, and he's dragged down from behind. It's a sack for the Pride. Dominique Barris gets back in there showing his speed, and he's able to just close out. There are not a lot of people on the field that can catch Smith, but Barris just closed in on him and made the play. Flag down on the far side, but nonetheless, that was a show of athleticism from Barris for the sack.
Guys, that's what we talked about yesterday in our production meeting, was how Barris just uses his athleticism and speed. He's gotten much bigger from last year. He's an alumni of ours. Last year, got away with speed, didn't have the size. This year, he has both, and you can see with 2 big plays he's made so far today.
As a linebacker, he comes in like a flash of lightning out of Bartlett, Illinois. Making the play, having his 2nd sack of the day. He had one on the first drive of the game. This one, Alston, far side, room to work. Good blocking downfield from Madison. Alston's able to make a couple men miss, and he turns a 3rd and long into a first down inside the red zone. Go the Courage. Alston finally breaking free. We've just been waiting for him to find some room to work with. That time he just had the whole right side blocked up by that Courage wide receiving staff. You had Madison taking his defender all the way downfield, and there was a lot of room to work on the far side because of the line on the right side. 1st and 10, fresh set of downs. Alston's going to get it again, trying to go the other side, near side. Now 10-5. He's going to walk the dog into the end zone. Easy, high stepping in. A flag is down, like you said, Nick. at the 15-yard line. We'll see if this comes back, but that was way too easy for Alston.
I think that is coming back, unfortunately. We'll see what the white hat has to say.
It is going to be holding on the Courage, and that's unfortunate. That's the second run of over 15 yards that has been taken back and taken out of the hands of Alston.
I'll tell you what, the penalty aside, this is eerily similar to the scrimmage the other night. He was bottled up a little bit, didn't have room to run, and then he broke one big run in the scrimmage, and it was all over from there. He had busted 2 long runs for touchdowns. This is very, very similar.
Saw him in the first half leave because of some cramping issues as we're underneath 4.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Courage trying to extend their lead. Play action, the bootleg, and there is only one man to beat. Madison trying to lay a block. Smith using the legs, and he's laid out just short of the first down marker. They get all of that yardage back, and it'll be a 2nd and 1 from about the 7-yard line, but Smith able to range out, had the bootleg action off to the right. Good play from Noah Taylor, the defensive back, able to come over from really out of nowhere to lay the hit on Smith. Kept him from scoring there, but it does set up a 2nd and manageable, 2nd and 2 to be exact, here on the 7-yard line. Smith, shotgun, gives it to Alston, has a hole to work with. He pounds it straight in there. Should have a first down because of forward progress. He does. And
you know what I love about that last
set
play?
things up.
I'm sorry. You know what I love about that last play is Madison's been the target on the as a wide receiver all game long, but he was downfield blocking for his quarterback. That's a complete receiver. That's what every coach in America wants to see.
And we've seen that already, not only whenever Smith ran on the bootleg there, but he was a huge blocker in the fact of having Alston's big run earlier in the drive.
Absolutely. That's a complete receiver there, not just about catching the ball, but doing the little things.
Blocking has been great from the Courage so far. This time they're looking for the touchdown scorer again, and Aiden Chavis, but the throw does go just out of his reach. 2nd and goal to come.
Talking about Madison there and being the complete wide receiver, you don't see that very often from kids these age. So seeing the kind of dedication, the understanding of that position for Madison at this age, that's huge. And then, I mean, you get this week here with all this great coaching, and, the sky's the limit for a couple of these players, already the knowledge that they have, and you work that in with the competition against other players at their skill level, and then you get this great coaching. It's really just a great week for these young stars.
Well, you look at Madison and the way he's able to block downfield and open up some extra space for his backfield to work, but whenever you are this age, it shows maturity more than anything. I mean, whenever you're wanting to play wide receiver, what do you want to do? You want to be Odell Beckham Jr. You want to make one-handed catches. You want to score touchdowns. You want to be the star. But there's a lot more that goes into being a great wide receiver, and that's exactly what's not only Madison, but really any wide receiver that has been invited to this game can do. Smith trying to spin his way to some open field, but he's taken down quickly. Looks like the Courage may have to settle for a field goal here.
Yeah, the film doesn't lie. When coaches are going to put on the film of this game, and we'll watch it at home, and if you're not blocking downfield as a receiver, or you're not doing the little things, it's going to get seen and it's going to get noticed. So do the right thing on the field all the time. Take the coaching, and good things will happen for you. And that's what's happening here for the Courage.
Courage setting up for their first field goal attempt. It's the first field goal attempt we've had of the day. Jackson Fain out of West Melbourne, Florida. He is on the kick. It's up and right down the middle. 16-0. Still a 2-possession game. Smith was holding there for Fain, but he does put it right in between the uprights, and the Courage extend their lead. And if you're the Pride, with 1:46 left here in the third quarter, you have to get something going on offense. They have not had any success so far, and with just over a quarter left, you've got to get 2 scores, and if you are able to get two-point conversions, you can get yourself evened up. But even then, that's easier said than done, especially you see there. That was a 1st and 10, 1st and goal from the 4-yard line, and the Courage were stuffed up by the Pride defense. The Courage defense could do the same thing as well.
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out real quick. Jacob Dossie, the linebacker for Pride on that 3rd and goal, was able to make that open field tackle on the quarterback, so a big hit there from the linebacker. But, yeah, going now to the current situation, this Courage defense has been suffocating, not giving a lot of time. You see, again, the quarterback having really not a lot of time in the pocket to try and get the ball out. And I believe Griffiths was targeted there again, incomplete.
I think in any type of situation where you're putting together a team in just 6 practices, that offensive line doesn't really get a great opportunity to mesh. And you're seeing the defensive line, as usual, have a little bit of advantage because you're not a cohesive unit. You know, your defensive line, you're one-on-one trying to get past the guy in front of you. As an offensive line, you got to work in sync with the other 4 guys, and, you know, they're having a little trouble today.
That's always going to happen. You see that even in the upper levels. If a offensive lineman, only one offensive lineman goes out, you tend to struggle to find that camaraderie and that well-oiled machine sort of look that you're used to having from an experienced offensive line, especially when you throw 5 brand new offensive linemen together. It takes a little bit more than a week to try and figure things out and mesh like they would normally like to see. Quick 3rd down, though. 2 incomplete passes. They've gone to the tight ends twice. Griffiths once, and then they also went to the big Justin Smith as well. Smith, 5'11", 205 pounds, is listed as a tight end. This one out of the backfield, a lot of room to work. Good blocking downfield. It's a foot race. Far sideline, tiptoeing his way, and open field he goes. Jamoki Lowe will take it to the house, and the Pride are back in it. Jamoki Lowe, thanks to some outstanding blocking on the edge there from his teammates, was able to tiptoe his way, keep both feet in bounds, and then, like he said, he shot out of a cannon all the way to the house. It is the first score that we've seen from the Pride, and that is how you get back in the ball game. How about a spark here from Lowe?
Way to answer with the statement right there. All week long, Jamoki Lowe has showed that speed in practice and his competitive nature, and then he just let it shine right there for all to see.
Morgan on for the extra point, puts it straight through. It's 16-7, so they elected not to go with a 2-point conversion there just yet. So it's going to be a 2-possession game still, but much more manageable now with a 16-7 deficit facing in front. And you got to chalk that up not only to the speed of Jamoki Lowe, but also you look at the blocking. It was unbelievable. He went to the side. It was a reception out of the backfield, just a little screen, and then all the way he goes. You see the blocking in the flats, and that's how the Pride were able to get back in it with this touchdown score.
Well, looking at Courage, we talked about James Madison's doing a great job of blocking downfield. Well, on that touchdown play, that was wide receiver Owen Connor with some spectacular blocking on the edge. Connor out of Claremont, Florida, 5'9", 145 wide receiver, able to get up in that second level and create a lane for Jamoki Lowe to get out to the edge, and eventually a big reason why that touchdown was scored. So we see a couple of wide receivers on both these teams doing a little bit more than just what maybe an average receiver at this age group would do, and they're doing a great job of realizing kind of the importance of blocking on the outside and getting up to that second level. And we saw Jamoki Lowe with the wheels able to turn one loose and get the Pride on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and Owen Connor, when we were talking about him in our pre-production meeting yesterday as well, the first words on the scouting report is well-rounded. And that's exactly what he is. He's been able to find a way to get open. He's very dependable, just a hidden gem of a player. He's just been outstanding in terms of trying to make something happen, and that ball's actually going to be caught. That was an outstanding show of hands on the far side there from the Courage wideout and Cole Cavett. My goodness, Webb City, Missouri. Got some hands. Didn't gain a whole lot of yards, but I'm impressed in the catch he was able to make. Was falling to the ground and snagged it just kind of off balance and right in the nick of time before that thing hit the turf. It's going to be 2nd and long here. Just outside the 15-yard line, and that one just barely got out of the hands of quarterback Hayden Parga in the backfield quickly. Jaden King again. My goodness. 6 foot, 250 pounds out of Claremont, Illinois. And for good reason. Parga is slow to get up because he took a lick, was able to get the ball out, completed the pass. Now flag thrown. I don't know exactly what it was. King came up doing a little bit of the James Harden. Had a bow and arrow, so maybe an unsportsmanlike conduct. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it's going to give it a fresh set of downs here to the Courage.
I think it looked like the signal that the referee gave indicated a roughing the passer, so I'm not sure if it was maybe a late hit.
Wow, I don't know
what they were looking at, but
if that's what it was, I'm not sure. They're going to call that an incomplete pass. Did pop out of the hands on the far side of Cole Cabot. But going back to that rough in the passer, if that I didn't see the official call. I was still looking at King and his info as the quarter does come to an end. But if that were the call, not sure if I agree with that one. I thought that was a clean play in the backfield. Unless there is some type of rule on hitting the quarterback, but he laid a hit. I think any high school game, that's just a good defensive play. But we are through 3. Into the final frame we go. 10 minutes up on the clock and a 16-7 lead for the Courage, who have possession currently. We'll switch into the field, and 1 quarter to go here in game 1 of 3. On the day here from Canton, Ohio, Pro Football Hall of Fame in the distance, and Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium hosting the 2018 USA Football Middle School Bowl Game Series. First year they've had this specific event. They've had events like this in the past with the developmental games from middle school level up all the way to the high school level, the International Bowl at the high school level. But the Middle School Bowl Game Series, and it is an honor to be here. Game On Sports bringing you the coverage. Kyle Yeomans alongside Al Pops and Nick Laupius. As the 4th quarter gets underway, the Courage still on the attack. And as Hayden Parga gets set. Lots of movement here from the wide receiving core for the Courage. Switching sides is Jay Madison and Azir White. White out of New Jersey. He's on the top of your screen. They're going to put Madison in motion. They hand it off. The wide receiver sweep goes for about a yard before Madison's dragged down.
Jet sweep I was looking for in the first half. That never happened. Good job, Al.
Made the call, just made it a little too early. Starting to see a little bit more creativeness from the coaching staffs. Of course, all of these players want to win, but even the coaches get competitive through a whole week of practices and training. They get to the point to where they just want to win the ball game as well. Pass, but it just goes out of the reach that time of Chavis.
After you bang against the same guys all week long, it's no wonder everybody is competitive. You don't want to come out here and lay an egg. You grind all week long, 2 practices a day, team meetings, film, everything that they go through. When the lights come on, you really want to show what you accomplished this week.
It has definitely been a great week of middle school football, and the Pride do force the stop that they have needed. And end up grabbing this one at the 45-yard line. Great field position. The Pride, who scored their last time out thanks to a John Moki low scamper all the way to the end zone, could really make this a ball game with a score here. 8:52 left, plenty of time. Both teams have all 3 timeouts here in the 4th quarter. They're going to send out once again the big quarterback for the Pride, Ryan Downs, 6'3", 165 pounds, out of Lloyd Harbor, New York. Tailback in the backfield right now, Rashawn Layman's. As that time, big hit laid on Downs all the way through the line of scrimmage and into the backfield. Holy cow. That was an outstanding play from Jason Lockaby Jr. We've called his name a couple times, but my goodness. That's not an easy task to put Ryan Downs on the ground like that.
It helped out that he was able to get through just untouched and just kind of shot through almost like a cannonball.
Downs now rolling out to his left. Throws over the top. You see the arm strength there from Downs. He was off balance and threw that thing 35 yards.
Not to mention rolling the opposite way of his arm.
Goodness.
Great job squaring those shoulders, too, and just getting that ball downfield. Again, these are very advanced plays and body movements by these kids being so young.
That footwork was uncanny as well. Just had his feet. He never looked off balance. Only time he was off balance was when he made the initial throw, but even then, he was under control the entire time. He's got John Moki low in the backfield now, off to his left. It's a third and very long. About 18 yards to go for the first down in the pass in the flats. Same type of play that John Moki Low scored on his last time out. But the pass goes wide. We'll see what the Pride elect to do here. It looks like they're going to pull the offense off the field, and they're going to have a flag here. There are a couple white uniforms right around the official there on the near side. And a flag thrown. Unsportsmanlike conduct, yeah. Must have said something the officials didn't like, and it is going to back them up a little bit more. The Courage loving this with 7:15 left on the clock. Gives them better field position to start their drive. That was a big drive of high importance there for the Pride, and it just did not pan out the way that they needed it to. Ended up being a 3-and-out, had some promising looks, but just weren't able to complete a pass. Went 0 for 3 passing-wise there from Downs. Good punt here. All the way to the 50-yard line as Madison's able to corral it. Once again, good punt there from Tyler Morgan, the Texan. 5'4", 105 pounds out of Berkshire, Texas. Got to shout him out. And also got to shout out the fact that this is not the only bowl game day. We've got July 22nd around the corner. That one in Texas, Frisco, Texas to be exact, at the headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys. An outstanding venue. And I can tell you right now, the Star and really everything around it up there in Frisco. I'm from that area. We are from that area as a production crew. But the Ford Center at the Star, my goodness, it is the ideal situation for an event like this, and then high school football as well. Good pass completed there near side to Jason Esley.
It was a good open field tackle by the linebacker Dominic Barris, able to trip him up and prevent a big run after the catch.
Barris able to just get where he needs to be. He has been athletic and he has been smart to the football. I think that was him again. Yeah, it is.
All over
Another
the field.
big tackle there from Barris.
It's so crazy to see his progression from last year to this year. Just his advancements in football knowledge, football skill, and obviously his growth, his physical growth is something too. But just to see how much better he's gotten, it's very good to see players like him continue to improve.
He has been all over the place. And almost every instance that he has been around the ball, he either ends up making the tackle or he's at least in the vicinity. Definition of just a ball hawk or a hammer, laying down some big hits out of that linebacking core. This pass just goes over the top of James Madison.
Which has been hard to do. I don't know how you overthrow him. He can probably jump out the gym if he needs to.
Looked like that time it just caught him a little off balance. I think if he might have been able to plant his feet a little bit more, he may have been able to climb the ladder and make the grab.
If they got that out to him in the flat, I mean, it's him one-on-one. I'm going to put my money on Madison.
There's a lot of room to work with. They could throw it up here. Instead, they're going to hand it off straight back behind. And a good play defensively. Slinging him down on that far side. I believe it was Thomas Glasgow in the backfield that time. It was either Glasgow or Bates. Couldn't see the number from here. It was Glasgow. Both Bates and Glasgow in that linebacking core currently, and they were able to get straight up to Canton Northington pretty quickly there. Playing quarterback right now for the Courage, wearing number 17, Michael Wheat. New York, New York. Representing here in Canton, hands it off again to Northington as he is wrapped up before he could get anything going, and that'll bring up 4th down. On the 25-yard line, the Courage, wouldn't be surprised to see them go for it here, and that looks like exactly what they're going to end up doing.
Sea of White made the tackle on that play. Hard to pinpoint one single guy. It was more like all 11.
Pride has done a much better job of team defense over the last couple of drives against the Courage. 4th and long, no surprise, going to Madison, end zone. It's picked off at the 3-yard line, and a big block laid down as well. Let's see how long this return goes. It goes almost all the way back to the line of scrimmage. A huge block laid down, but the interception leads to the second turnover forced by that Pride defense. Jamison Prince out of Southport, North Carolina, makes the snag at the 3-yard line, and a 22-yard return sets up some decent field position for the Pride as they look to get back in it here with 5:22 left.
And that block was made by Jackson Smith, the defensive back, wearing number 25 in white, able to lay down that big block to give the Pride a little bit better field position on that return. So a huge block there. You talk about the team defense. Well, you get the interception. You have a couple of your other teammates backing you up and making a couple of big blocks to get a nice quality return.
That's another thing. We talked about the maturity and the blocking on the offensive side. Defensively, though, as soon as a turnover happens, you're looking to lay down the wood. That's unbelievable. He didn't just lay down the wood. He laid down a hammer on that poor wide receiver far side. I'm not sure who it was. That's a strong throw there over the cross, or over the middle, I should say, to the crossing route of Griffiths there.
There's a lot of confidence in his arm right there.
Yeah.
There's about 3 or 4 blue jerseys in the vicinity.
Not a bad idea. If Griffiths would have been able to get there in time, he would have had one safety in between him and the end zone. .502 left in the ball game. The Pride and Courage battling it out for bragging rights here at the end of a long week. And that one just dropped. Griffiths far side just couldn't hang on to it. That's unusual to see from the big wide out.
You heard those footsteps coming at the DB, closing very quick.
Cody Padgett, the starting quarterback, is the one running this drive now for the Pride. A crucial time in the game as they still trail by 2 possessions. 9-point lead here for the Courage. 4:47 left on the clock. Shotgun again, low snap. Padgett over the top, looking for Griffiths. And it is also just a bit high. Griffiths frustrated on the far sideline. Brings up 4th down. I think you got to go for it here if you're the Pride. 4:42 left. You got to get two possessions back, basically, and we're going to have some time to talk things over here. Timeout called by the Pride. See if they end up going for it here or they play it safe and punt it away. I haven't mentioned the coaching staffs near enough. Pride led by Luke Barker, IUP, which is in Pennsylvania. Offensive coordinator Joseph Hawkins out of Warner University. He's coaching the wide receivers and the tight ends. Defensive coordinator Anthony Leonard, also out of IUP. So is Johnny Franco's an assistant coach. Corey Heflin out of West Virginia, Big 12 school. A.J. Dalton out of Carrollton High School, and that's also in Ohio. And then Marcus Spearman, head coach of the defensive line out of Sunny Maritime College. And we've got a lot of southern states represented on the Courage sideline. Head football coach Jared Hensley out of Sam Houston State. Bearcats represented. Offensive coordinator Mike Cannon, he's out of Langston University, which is in Oklahoma. Gary McGraw out of Sam Houston State. And you got Coach Haynes out of Sam Houston State as well. Langston University represented by Freddie Johnson and Reggie Gamble out of Ashland University here in Ohio. 4th down over the middle. It's caught by the big tight end, and have your go at trying to take him down. My goodness, he's got some speed on him as well. Justin Smith able to make the catch over the middle. A brilliant throw from Pagic, able to get it to his tight end's hands, and it's a 4th down conversion, the first one we've seen today.
Guys, was that a hurdle I saw by 120-pound tight end?
So.
Got a player down in the backfield here. They are going to call a timeout. 4:16 left on the clock, and that was the biggest play by far of the game in terms of importance. Keeps the drive alive and thus the game alive here for the Pride. Fresh set of downs, and like you said, a hurdle from Smith. That's a tight end listed at 205, 5'11". Reminds me of and I am from Waco, so this may be a little bit of a bias, but Laquan McGowan, he was a 400-pound tight end that ran for Baylor football's offense when Bryce Petty was the quarterback there just a couple years ago. Had that big touchdown in the Cotton Bowl against Michigan State and was a fan favorite for a long time.
To put that into perspective, I'm 5'11", 205 pounds, and there's zero chance of me ever hurdling anyone ever. So that was a very impressive play by that tight end.
Oh, man. Sean Johnson, the player down in the backfield, as he's looking at, or being looked at by the training staff. And he is able to walk off on his own power.
It's good to see.
4:16 left up on the clock. 2-possession lead for the Courage in the Navy. The Pride trying to come back. Make this just a 1-possession game. Pagic looking downfield. He's got an open receiver. Overthrew him. Just over the top. That time of big number 17, Owen Connor. Talked about Connor a little bit earlier. Well-rounded wide receiver. Just a guy who does everything right. Not anything crazy athletic. Not anything just that sticks out in terms of the timing and the fundamentals, or not really the fundamentals, but the measurables. But in terms of the fundamentals, he is extremely sound, and he just does it the right way every time.
Just a dependable wide receiver. Someone you can always throw the ball to. Oh, no.
And that one's going to be taken back. The Pride may have just lost it. The Courage cashing in on a turnover. It's a scoop and score. And the Courage take it to the house, and that might have just done it for the Pride.
Oh, Kyle, it's someone we've been talking about a lot on that Courage defense. Jason Lockamy Jr. able to pick it up and take it to the house, and like you said, probably secure this one for Courage.
Don't blink, because that's how quickly that one just turned around. It looked like the Pride had all the momentum. They had scored their first touchdown of the game on a big John Mockey low run, and then you have a defensive stop. You're driving a 4th down conversion.
Justin Smith, the tight end, coming up with a huge 4th down conversion.
Yeah, but then it's just in a blink of an eye, the momentum and really the game now in hand for the Courage. Players still down after that one came to an end. I can't see the number from here. So he is surrounded by coaching staff. It may be Owen Connor. It is Connor. Or no, it is actually number 77, Gavin Major, out of Charlotte, North Carolina. That's unfortunate. Major's had a great game on that offensive line for the Pride. Got shaken up there, but the big story, the Courage with the scoop and score. It's the first defensive touchdown we've seen today. And we'll see Jackson Fain come on for the extra point. He's 1 for 2 so far, and then he has the field goal also to his name. Underneath 4 minutes left in the game.
Looking at Major coming off the field, looks like he's able to start putting a little bit of pressure on that right leg. As soon as he got up, not able to put any pressure on it at all, but once he got about halfway to the sideline, able to start to put a little pressure on that right leg. So hopefully everything heals up very quickly for him, as he'll get looked at on the training staff.
And the point after is right down the middle, 23-7. 30 points scored here in game number 1 here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon from Canton, Ohio. Not as high scoring as we may have originally thought, but the defense for the Courage able to do
That was Jason.
just an unbelievable show of that Courage defense. We talked about the defensive line earlier, and I made the reference for Dominic Celavelli also on that defensive line, but man, he, along with the rest of that defense for the Courage, has been scary. Big throw far side from Downs, off the hands. That has really been the story, other than the one John Moki low touchdown run. The Pride have just not been able to get anything going offensively. It was a story from the opening kickoff. They had a couple first downs in the first half. They had the big run from Low in the second. But other than that, it has been tough sledding because that Courage defense is seemingly everywhere at once. Much like that one. Stopped in the backfield again.
It's Brett Clotterball coming back in, coming off the edge again, almost untouched, able to get there first. And there's been a lot of blue jerseys in that backfield. The Pride have had possession.
3:30 left in the game. Clock still counting here in the fourth quarter. 3rd and long for the Pride. 3 receivers to the right of Downs. He's got the tailback on his left hip. Puts one in motion, evens things up. Defense trying to adjust for the Courage. Snap straight into the gut, and Downs is going to be downed at the 5-yard line. A multitude of Navy jerseys crashing in all around him. And I said it earlier, J.J. Watt coming in the background there, making the hit and pulling him down on the 5-yard line. Dominic Selvedielli making things happen. Also had a couple other jerseys in there as well. Big number 44, Jaden Martin was there out of Eden, North Carolina.
Seems like we've mentioned the same names over and over again on this Courage defense. The Clatterballs, the Selvatellis, the Lockamies. They've had a great game and holding the Pride to only 7 points.
Selvatelli has been everywhere as well. He has been all over the place. Forcing a punt here. That may be the last time the Pride are going to have a chance to have possession. The Courage may have just locked this one up with the scoop and score. And you look at everywhere that all of these defenders are out of. We've talked about Massachusetts, North Carolina, all sorts of different things, but I think Jason Lockamy Jr. out of Woodbridge, Virginia. I made the joke earlier in the pun, laying down the wood out of Woodbridge. He unofficially right now looks like maybe the front runner to try and be MVP here, the first middle school bowl game series game of the day.
He's just been able to find a way to break into the backfield really just untouched almost every time, and he's been able to cover a lot of ground in that secondary and a lot of good open field tackles for Lockamy Jr., and not to mention the scoop and score.
Offense for Courage has been pretty stout as well. Had the opening score. A 15-yard touchdown reception from Aiden Chavis, who's able to dive into the end zone. They had Coven Smith for 86 yards into the end zone. A couple good plays from James Madison. Quarterback right now, Sterling Smith. And then a couple big runs by Alston. We thought Alston had a couple big first down runs, even one that was a 15-yard touchdown run, but it got called back. Now he's got some room to work with near side, tiptoes his way. He steps out of bounds. He's dragged down anyways, just outside the 10-yard line. And even though there's underneath a minute and a half left to play, Courage not slowing up even in the slightest. They're continuing
What about the closing speed there? Linebacker Brian Bates.
Yeah.
Able to drag him down. We do have a Pride player down. Also, there's a flag on the field, so we'll see what the call ends up being made there.
Also, do want to remind you, don't forget about game 2 of the afternoon. Starting right around 11:30 noon. Got the Stars and the Stripes, U-14. Game 2 of 3, and then U-15. Stars and Stripes, players going into high school next year. Capping off what has been an incredible week here from Canton, Ohio. In the shadow, or I guess we are the shadow, over the top of the Pro Football Hall of Fame here, Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. But definitely in terms of stature, the Hall of Fame is the pinnacle, the mecca of all of American football. The NFL starting right around this area, Canton and Akron, into Cleveland. Players still down here. The training staff continues to look at them. Definitely a lot of football left to be played here. Games 2 and 3, we'll look through some of those different individuals that'll be showcased in that one as well. Got in the 14U Stars, you got Will Stallings, U.S. National Team alumni, all-effort type of player. Toven George, Chase Fiedlin, all sorts of different players showcased in that next game between the Stars and the Stripes.
Yeah, Kyle, and talking, all 3 games today, all these young kids, talking to kind of the people in charge of putting these teams together, and really there's always one common theme with all these players that are taking the field this weekend, and that's just their dedication and their commitment to the game, and that's something rare to find with 13, 14-year-olds. At that age, it's tough to be super dedicated and to really see things out and have that just constant drive to practice. And so it's definitely a reoccurring theme that we've seen all week with these kids, and being rewarded playing here at, like you said, Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, and a lot of great talent on this field this weekend, and just the drive that these players have and the passion for the game that they have is really something hard to come by for kids these age.
Definitely so. Couldn't agree more. Hopefully now that we see number 29, Khalil Terry, making his way off the field. Hopefully he'll be okay. Walking off on his own power and surrounded by some of the training staff here for USA Football. Don't want to see that happen at the end of what has been such a good week of improvement and practice drills and everything in between. Don't want to see it come to an end like that, but it is the risk that is taken. Great job by not only the USA coaching staff and training staff of trying to keep these players healthy and safe all week long, but the equipment from Riddell, Gatorade, water, just straight up H2O, keeping players hydrated. But it has been an incredible game, number one. It looks like Courage are still going to go at it here. Direct handoff, or direct snapped here to Smith. Just a little QB draw with just over a minute remaining. Clock continues to tick down, 23-7. The Courage over the Pride looks to be what will be the final score. Alston's big run was taken back because of a flag. Down to 45 seconds and counting. 3 wide receivers. Sterling Smith in the shotgun. A lot of these players this won't be the last time they see each other. They'll either come back in the next couple years or as a part of Team USA, or they may be going across each other on the college field sometime soon. Some of these players may play each other in the high school ranks as well. That's what's so interesting about these types of camps, but with 15 seconds left, that may be our final play.
It was Darien Mayo getting in the backfield and shutting down that run before he got a chance to really get any momentum. And like you said, the last play of the game, that will do it for game number 1. Impressive showing from U-14 Courage on the offensive side. Couple of huge plays, and then the defense talked about all morning long, stifling on that side for the blue jerseys.
Little confusion in terms of the handshake, but it is a final score. 23-7. See the coaching staffs celebrating down there for the Courage in the Navy, and the Pride in the white. Game number 2 coming up right around the corner. The Stars and Stripes will take the field. The Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium here, Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio. 1 down, 2 to go here from the inaugural year of the USA Football Middle School Bowl Game Series. And the Courage are the ones that come out on top here. They really were dominant from the get-go. The Pride had a nice go at it right toward the end with Ryan Downs, and Cody Padgett's trying to will their team back from behind, but the Courage, with everybody that they've had, including players like Aiden Chavis, Aiden Morrow, different players along the way. Coven Smith with an 86-yard touchdown run. Sterling Smith, James Madison. They have been all over the place. They were really the better team. Dominic Celavelli also playing very well. We'll see who the MVP will be. I think we're going to go ahead and hand out our MVP. Nick, who is your Wolchuk Warrior for today's game number 1?
I tell you, and again, we have this problem every time. There's so many players, always well deserving. But we talked about it a couple of minutes ago. Jason Lockamy Jr. has got to be the Wolchuk Warrior. A spectacular morning from the linebacker in the backfield. Really all morning long, had the scoop and score to really put the final dagger in the game with about 4 minutes to go. And so I'd have to go with Lockamy Jr., linebacker out of Woolbridge, Virginia. That's today's Wolchuk Warrior for game number 1.
It looks like he's also the official MVP, getting the chain leading around the chest with a USA Football emblem on top as well. And he was outstanding, really, from the get-go. And he is the MVP here of game number 1 in the USA Football Middle School Bowl Game Series. That's going to do it for us for now. We will be back in about 35 minutes to an hour as game 2 gets set up here from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. We want to thank everybody involved in this Game on Sports and USA Football production broadcast. For everybody involved, Fred Garner, Silviano Moncada, John Knoll, Troy Gooder, Al Pomps, and my partner Nick Laupius. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Once again, the final score, 23-7, the final score. The Courage over the Pride. So long here from Canton.